represents a critical time for the space industry and our country. With NASA no longer having the capability to send humans to space, there's going to be a large gap of time, probably a minimum of 5 to 6 years, if not longer, before a government solution will emerge. The space industry has been an incredibly important part of our history, and it needs to continue that drive. And we need to continue to explore and to discover, make new scientific discoveries, not just for our own interests, but for the betterment of humanity. And NASA for the last 30 years has done a good job putting together a very difficult program to get humans to space, to help advance scientific technology in space through satellite manufacturing and inventions, and robotic missions and so forth. And this is absolutely one of our most vital and critical moments because we no longer have that government option. In fact, with the NASA shuttle retiring, we have to rely on the Russian government, on the Soyuz program, for seats to space. And suddenly, in an area where we once thrived, in an area where we were the leaders of industry, we are now dependent on foreign nations. And there are only really 2 countries that can currently fly humans to space, and those are the Russians and the Chinese. And we have an agreement with the Russians right now to help carry that load until we find another solution. Now the question is, should government be doing space exploration, or should the private sector be doing it, or is it a combination? And I think in the last 30 years, we've learned so much from what's called low Earth orbit space travel, which is where the International Space Station is and where most of our shuttle missions have been flying to and taking place. However, this has become an extremely inefficient operation, as shuttle programs and the shuttle launch, each launch, for example, costs nearly $1 billion just to get it off the ground, and the support team for 7 crew members. And that has become highly inefficient, and many reasons for that are because government programs are, the way they're structured, are very rigid. They're not very cost effective. They're oftentimes started and scrapped. In fact, every time NASA got a new administrator, it seemed like the vision for space would change, and they would start a multi-billion project like with the Orion project, and then it was canceled. And that's a perfect example of where government isn't incentivized necessarily to make the right investments and to really safeguard the taxpayers' dollars. And that's where commercial industries come in. Commercial entities, while they're more nascent in the human spaceflight opportunities, they're definitely able to take over the helm for NASA. What I believe is that NASA should really focus its attention and projects on deep space exploration, on possibly going back to the moon, going to Mars, on exploring alternative ways where we can harvest energy in space. Possibly discover new natural resources that we can bring from space, such as on asteroids, that could provide for us here on Earth, and would protect the Earth in turn as we start running out of our own natural resources. And NASA should do the hard things. They should take on the research and development opportunities that a lot of private industry isn't willing to make, or because the risks are too high and the unknowns are too great. But what private industry can do, and what they are doing, is beginning to develop spacecraft and rocket ships, whether they develop them on their own or are using older government hardware to get access to space. And that is in the low Earth orbit arena, where NASA currently flies the shuttle program, including to the International Space Station and to do orbits around the Earth. And so, there are companies like SpaceX and Orbital Sciences and Excalibur Almas who are already doing it and who are already flying into space. And they're proving that private corporations can do it, and for far less money. This means greater opportunities for Americans and for citizens of the world to learn about space and to continue a space program while doing it on far fewer tax dollars. Having said that, though, we do have a national interest in maintaining a robust spaceflight program because it's part of our national heritage, and we do have so much more to learn. And also, we don't want to pass the torch on to another nation. It's something that we need to hold, we need to safeguard due to not just jobs in our industrial base, but because of the new technologies and innovations that come out of that. Traveling to space is hard. It was never easy, and it takes many tries and many challenges and lots of testing. And what we've done, though, is it's really sort of propelled the American spirit and the American mind into new arenas that they never would have engaged in previous, and to develop new technologies. And many of them are becoming spin-offs here on Earth. Can you imagine a country without having our telecommunications satellite grid? I mean, if we were to shut off the satellites today, we wouldn't have phone service, you wouldn't have satellite television service, you wouldn't have GPS, and many computer programs gather information through satellite technology. I mean, that could be a real shutdown in our economy. So it's absolutely vital that we maintain a strong space program and understand what the benefits are, not just that providing us every day, whether it's Earth observation, weather monitoring, or connectivity to our cell phones, but also what it does to help spur innovation, to help spur entrepreneurship, to help people become better educated. That while the Earth is our cradle, we can leave it and explore new worlds and discover new means to help make us more efficient and sufficient. And I think there's a lot of great opportunities out there, but private industry is the one who is taking the helm because the technology is finally ripe. There's finally more opportunities for them to also make money. And in the end, we all benefit because we reap the new technologies, we reap the any new benefits that are derived from space, and any new knowledge that is accrued through these companies. And that's why it's vital to maintain the space program. It's vital that NASA continue on a mission, but also get back in focus on what it is trying to do and what it can accomplish, and opening the doors for commercial entities to flourish in the space market and to have those opportunities. And that includes lessening the burdens on them through certain export controls. It includes allowing engineers from other countries to stay longer on a work visa that's been approved. And this way we can really streamline the effectiveness of the commercial space program and make it a benefit to all humanity.